Oscars were yesterday. 95th Academy Awards, I think, and the Everything Everywhere All at Once film cleaned up completely. Won most of the big winners, but let's go through it bit by bit. Makeup and hairstyling was The Whale. I'll also say I did a Oscar ballot that I do every year. Usually what we do is Sophia and I will host a Oscars party at our place, but because Sophia got COVID earlier last week sometime, we couldn't do it here because even though she was kind of over it by that point, we just didn't have time to plan or prep or, you know, go out and do the things we need to do. Some people might not have wanted to come over and all that. So instead she stayed home and I went out to the local bar to go watch it there. And we usually just do like a $5 buy-in, and then whoever gets the most right wins the pot. And for the last 2 years I won it pretty convincingly, but this year it was the first time in 3 years that I actually lost, and I lost to my friend and business partner Kevin, who beat me by 1 fucking vote, because we'll get to it later, but I guessed that Austin Butler was going to win for Elvis, but yeah, we know how that went. So makeup and hairstyling, I guessed The Whale, and The Whale ended up winning. I thought, even though I thought like All Quiet on the Western Front had really good makeup, Elvis had good makeup as well, with the Tom Hanks and aging Austin Butler throughout the years. And even the Batman did a pretty good job, mainly for the Colin Farrell penguin makeup that they did. I thought they did a good job with that, but yeah. I think The Whale was a fair winner. I think it was the obvious winner. They did a really good job with the fat suit and everything. They had that big glory shot of him like naked in the bathroom. So yeah, I'm not mad. Film editing, Everywhere All at Once, great. I think that's honestly the best pick of the bunch. Like these all had really good editing. Elvis, I'm not the biggest fan of the way Baz Luhrmann edits movies, but I understand why you would like that. That's completely up to you, but I think Everything Everywhere is the best pick of the bunch, and it's tough to take a film like that with that many different elements and different styles and like timelines and everything and performances and bring it together and make it so cohesive. And I've never met someone like, people will say that movie is weird and that movie is like difficult, has a lot of heady concepts and strange things about it, but it's not difficult to follow. And I think that's one of the biggest advantages of why people love that movie so much, is with all the weirdness in it, you understand what's going on the entire way through. And I think that really speaks to obviously every part of the film, the directors and the actors and the cinematographers, but just to edit that in a way that it just makes sense is really good. Visual effects was definitely going to be Avatar. There's no way any of these other ones was going to win. Although I thought All Quiet had really good visual effects personally. And even Top Gun had really good visual effects because it's very seamless, the visual effects in Top Gun. It's difficult to tell where the practical effects start and where the visual effects start. So I think they did a really good job with that. But all three of these I guessed correctly. Original score, All Quiet on the Western Front, I guessed that correctly as well. Although, before, I think when I did my predictions on stream, I think I guessed Babylon, because I think of all of these, it's got the most memorable score. It's got the one that's easiest to like hum along to, but it also sounds a little bit too much like La La Land at points. I think just because it's not original enough, it got hurt a little bit there. Live action short film, the first one I got wrong, because I guessed La Pupille, because it's the only one that's on a major streaming network. Because I don't give the Oscar voters a lot of credit, especially with the short films. I always just pick the ones that have the widest reach, unless it's like a super obvious one or it's like a Pixar one or something. I don't give the Oscar voters a lot of credit with these. So I'm surprised An Irish Goodbye won, but apparently people say it's very good. I've not seen any of the shorts, sadly. The animated short film, I guessed this one right because my strategy worked. This was one that was on Apple TV Plus, which is why it was easy enough to find, so the voters didn't have to like search very hard for it. And apparently it was pretty good. I didn't watch it. It also was like the sleekest animated. It seemed like the most like Disney-ish of the bunch. Best achievement in sound, Top Gun Maverick. That's also one I guessed. I think I could have seen it maybe go to All Quiet on the Western Front, or maybe Elvis, because Elvis is about music. But I think Top Gun Maverick, just the sounds of those planes, man, they sound great. What happens if I click this? It just goes to the link. Okay. Costume design was where I fucked up. I said Elvis. I said Elvis for costume design just because of that pink suit. I thought that pink suit was good enough, and they did a good enough job with going through the different decades of Elvis's career and matching the styles of those times to the film and all of that. I thought that was going to be enough to push Elvis to win it, but I think my friend picked Black Panther, and I probably should have done that as well. Cinematography, All Quiet on the Western Front is what I guessed and is what won, but I didn't see Bardo and I didn't see Empire of Light, so I think that I think that kind of like nullifies my opinion on what should win a little bit because of that. From the stills and the images I've seen of Empire of Light, it looks great. Obviously, Roger Deakins knows what he's doing at this point in his career. Bardo, I really did want to see it, but just because it was so long and there were so many other movies I wanted to catch up on, I just didn't get the time to watch Bardo. Hopefully I'll get to see it at some point. I thought All Quiet on the Western Front was a fair winner. Elvis, I'm still not the biggest fan of Baz Luhrmann's style. Tar looked really good. It looked very like stylistic and very formal, and I thought it was very mannered in its camera movements and that, but it's not as flashy. It's not the kind of film that usually wins best cinematography, so I get why they defaulted to All Quiet on the Western Front. It's a good looking film. Production design, I think I got this wrong as well. I think everyone got this wrong. Production design, I said Elvis at first, and then I changed my mind halfway through to Babylon. Literally, like, as they're reading it out, I changed my mind halfway through. And I was like, fuck it, Babylon. And, yeah, I don't think anyone really guessed that it was going to be All Quiet on the Western Front. Like, I want to see, can I find the Vegas odds? I wonder if they've updated it all. Odds. Oscars. I want to know if they have the ones for yesterday. Okay, here we go. What was it? Best production design. Yeah, it was plus 900. Babylon was the favorite, then Elvis, then Avatar. All Quiet was tied for third. So I'm surprised. I'm not mad at it. As I said, I like the film. I think it looks good. The production design's handsome. They clearly put a lot of work into recreating the World War I feel and look and style, but that's a tough one. Surprising one. Director already. Okay. Did it just skip over a shit ton of them? Why are you doing it this way around? Okay, I'm gonna come back to the okay, I'll just do the director now because I didn't pull up their speeches, but yeah, director was an easy one, I think. I don't think anyone... There was, at the beginning of the award season, I don't know if anyone remembers, there was a lot of talk of them splitting the award between Spielberg and the Daniels. In that the Everything Everywhere would win Best Picture was a conventional wisdom, and then Spielberg would win Best Director as kind of like a lifetime achievement award. But by the time the Oscars came about, it was quite obvious that Everything Everywhere was just going to steamroll through everything. It was such an awards darling. It had the momentum behind it. It was winning a bunch of the Guild Awards. It was a big sure bet. So I had no qualms that these two were going to win Best Director, and they really did deserve it. I think out of this group, they deserved it. They deserved it the most. I mean, I really liked Tar. I liked what Todd Field did with Tar. I really liked the Banshees of Inisherin. Fabelmans was good, but I don't think it's Spielberg's best work by far. I think it's a very, like, fine kind of film. that has really good moments in it, but doesn't really fully come together as a great film. Whereas what they had to do and how they pulled it off is just incredible. Okay, let me skip over these. I don't want to go through these. Original screenplay, Everything Everywhere. Also, I guessed that right. It was kind of obvious by that point in the evening that the Everything Everywhere was just kind of the film to beat. But honestly, if it was up to me, I probably would have picked Banshees to win screenplay, because that's just such a good, tight screenplay. Just to give it like something, but I have no issues with. I have no issues with Everything winning this. It's such a great film, one of the best films of the year, that it deserves it. Best adapted screenplay, Woman Talking. This I didn't expect. What did I write down? I wrote down All Quiet on the Western Front. I thought that was really going to be a big sweep for a lot of the and I thought that was a bit of a dark horse for Best Picture, honestly. If things didn't work out well for Everything Everywhere, I thought All Quiet could have been that the next thing. Like, what were the odds for All Quiet at the end? It was Banshees was second, and then All Quiet was third. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, that's why I picked All Quiet on the Western Front. Thought they would have went for that for adapted screenplay, but Woman Talking makes sense. That would have been the second guess I had. It's a good screenplay, and obviously just it being so dialogue heavy and so character based, it makes sense that it would win screenplay Oscar. Animated feature film, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio, the biggest lock of the entire year. There was no one was beating this. This won like every single animation award throughout the entire award season. So that's one of the biggest gimmies you could possibly get. Although honestly, I preferred Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. I loved that film. That film was so good and so pure and so kind that that would have been the one that I would have picked. But I'm not mad at Pinocchio. I liked Pinocchio a lot. I really liked the animation style of it a lot. Original song. This I guessed right. Naatu Naatu. It makes sense because I think they wanted to recognize RRR in some manner. Because it didn't. I honestly thought it was going to get nominated for Best Picture. If you go back and look at when I was guessing the Oscars nominees, I thought that was going to be nominated for Best Picture, it didn't get nominated for Best International Feature because of the stupid Oscar rule that countries can only submit one film to be up for consideration for the International Feature category, and India picked a much more like conventional drama instead of RRR, even though I think if they did do that, RRR would have been nominated. So I think this was kind of just their way of giving it to them. It's also a really fun song. It's catchy. It takes place in a very important part of the film. I think the dancing, if you just listen to it, I don't think the song is that great, but with the scene, with the dancing and everything, it's really fun. And I think if they were going to give it to another one of these two would have won it, either Lady Gaga or Rihanna, but I think that those two just being kind of like the big Hollywood, big star nominees in the category kind of cancelled each other out in a way. A documentary feature, I picked Navalny because it's about Russia. Honestly, that's the only reason why I thought it was going to win. All the Beauty and the Bloodshed was one of, if not my favorite film of 2022, so I really wanted that to win because I think it's just such a absolutely beautiful documentary about one of my favorite artists ever, one of my favorite photographers ever. I love Nan Golding, I love her work, and I thought that documentary was just such a perfect representation of and encapsulation of her as a artist and as a human. That was just told magnificently, so I really wish that won, but Navalny, I picked that and guessed it correctly. I didn't think anything else had a chance. Maybe Fire of Love, because a lot of people were talking about that throughout the year, but Navalny's about Russia, so yeah. Documentary short, Elephant Whisperers, was on Netflix, so that's why I guessed that, and it... International feature film was also, along with Pinocchio, probably the easiest pick of the night because it's the only film that was nominated for Best Picture. So, yeah. Even though out of these, I probably would have picked EO. EO was my favorite. I loved EO. That fucking donkey movie was great. And, yeah, I mean, it was never going to be anything but All Quiet on the Western Front, let's be real. Okay, what are we on now? Is that it? Okay. Okay, then let's get on to the acting ones then. This was Jamie Lee Curtis, won Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Everything Everywhere All at Once. She beat out a lot of the predictors beforehand had Kerry Condon or even who else? Angela Bassett as the winner for this, but because the wisdom was that the two actors from Everything Everywhere All at Once, Jamie Lee Curtis and Stephanie Hsu, would cancel each other out a bit with the voting, but clearly that didn't matter, and Jamie Lee Curtis won this kind of as a career Oscar. I think this was kind of like, hey, you've been around forever, you're a legend, you deserve this. Stephanie Hsu is so young that she'll get her chance in the future, even though I do think she gave the more difficult performance and the better performance in the film. I thought Stephanie Hsu was absolutely magnificent and the best out of that bunch, and I think she should have won, but I'm not terribly mad at Jamie Lee Curtis winning. So then that was obviously Jamie Lee Curtis. As I said, I would have probably picked Stephanie Hsu, but I'm not too mad that she won. I really thought no one talked about her because she was by far like the least likely to win out of the five, but I thought Hong Chau in The Whale was really good. I thought she did a really, really good job in that film, but she just wasn't the betting favorite. And then actor in a supporting role. Out of the acting categories, this was by far the easiest to predict, and no one else had a shot in a million years to win that. Out of the acting categories, I think the actor in a supporting role was by far the easiest to predict. Ke Huy Quan was winning all of the awards, the entire award season. I really liked Brendan Gleeson in Banshees of Inisherin. I thought he was really great. I really liked Brian Tyree Henry in Causeway. I'm glad that he actually got a shout out because the movie itself was good. It was a pretty solid film, but I thought he was the best part of it, and I'm really glad that he got a shout out. I hope he gets more stuff in the future. He's the guy he's Paperboy from Atlanta, and he's great. He's been great. Judd Hirsch in The Fabelmans, I don't think he really was the best. I don't know why he really got nominated. I thought he was fine, but he was barely in the movie. He had one good monologue, and apparently that was about it. And Barry Keoghan in Banshees was good. He was good. But Ke Huy Quan was the pick. He has by far the best story to tell out of everyone, and it was just fantastic. His speech was incredible. Supporting actors, they both were great. I was really happy with it. Obviously, I'd pick that, but that's all said and done. Actors and actress. Let's start with Brendan. Yeah. So this is where I fucked up with my Oscar pool, because I got caught up in thinking that for some reason Austin Butler was going to win instead of my namesake Brendan Fraser, who I have loved as an actor forever. In The Mummy, in Looney Tunes, he's just great. As to Austin Butler for Elvis, for some reason, there just seemed to be some, like, weird momentum behind him. I think it was mainly just the BAFTAs, because Brendan Fraser won at the SAG, which is usually the biggest indicator of who's going to win at the Oscars. Obviously, they're never 1-to-1. But I thought that, I really did think that that Austin Butler for some reason was going to pull ahead somewhere, but I'm glad that Brendan Fraser won. He really did deserve it, and I do think, despite the film not being the greatest film in the world, I think that he really did give a really great performance in it. So happy he won. As I said, I put my bet on Austin Butler for some reason, but I think Brendan Fraser actually gave a better performance, and I just think it's the better story that he wins. I really liked Colin Farrell in The Banshees of Inisherin. Honestly, he could have won and I would have been happy. Paul Mescal, I thought was really good in Aftersun. I really, really loved Aftersun. Not a lot of people saw it. It was on top of a lot of critics' lists at the end of the year, but general public didn't really watch a lot of it. So I get it. I didn't watch Living. I know I should have, but I've seen Ikiru, and it's just a apparently pretty straightforward remake of Ikiru, so that's kind of why I never rushed out to go see it. Or I probably should have gone to see it. I do like Bill Nighy, and I'm glad that he got a Oscar nomination. Although I don't think he'll ever win. I think that was kind of like his last big swan song. You're wrong there. Actress Michelle Yeoh. This was kind of, for a long time, this was a 1-2 between Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. No one really knew who was gonna be the big winner there, but as the award season went on and on, it seemed much more just Michelle Yeoh's thing to lose. She was great in the film. I thought she had a really, really good journey throughout, and it's, you know, she didn't just give a dramatic performance. She also had to do action scenes. She had to do stunt work. She did a lot in the role while also being the emotional core of the entire film. So I thought that, you know, she's a very deserving winner of the film. Of the award. She did a great job. I mean, if we're going to be technical about it, I think Cate Blanchett probably does give a better performance, as much as you can like actively quantify that. But you know, who cares? Like, Cate Blanchett's already won 2 Oscars. She's been nominated 8 times. I think everyone was so happy that Michelle Yeoh won. And it's also just a good story. Like, you know, she came from being one of the stars of one of the big breakaway international films of the early 2000s in what's that movie called? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, to winning an Oscar 20 years later. I love that. And she also gave a really good speech. The speeches for like the big awards were really good this year. And then it just comes down to picture, which I saw this tweet. Where was it? Let me find it. I think over All at Once wins editing that may signal a Best Picture win, but if it loses to Top Gun or something else, it's wide open. This has been a battle all night with Everything Everywhere and All Quiet at the Western Front trading blows like prize fighters, and Oscar for Best Editing goes everywhere, Everything All at Once. Interesting point of view, I guess. I remember my friend Kevin was like, if Everything Everywhere didn't win, he thought that Avatar might be able to pull off, but I didn't see that. I think it was either Banshees or All Quiet were kind of, I think it was All Quiet was the only one that could have maybe stopped it, but Everything Everywhere was just such a freight train of a awards darling that it just couldn't be stopped, and I'm so glad it won. It was easily by far the best film of this bunch. The only other ones that I really do love is Banshees and Tar, but even they don't really come close to Everything. Everything is just so